Altruism is not an accident. It's a divine presence inside of us pushing outward. Here we look at how everyday service becomes a spiritual practice and how stepping beyond ourselves opens the door to transformation for both giver and receiver. So let's talk about altruistic living, and and that takes us then to the divine within. So what can you tell us about this, April, Helen?
Yeah, this so I've started shifting my own language from using the word service so often
Mm-hmm.
to this altruistic living. And sometimes people ask me to define that,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. It's not as popular of a word, and it's generally associated with philanthropy, finances, funding. So, as I am here today to advocate for this ideal of altruism being a religion as you're activating it in your life. It's that witnessing of what some people call the fruits of the spirit. I
Okay.
see as integrity of virtuous living, living your values, and it's at all levels of your life. So your personal connection, taking care of your body temple, like we were saying earlier, keeping your temple
Mm-hmm.
organized and clean so that you can be healthier for longer periods of time on this planet so you can serve. And, you can serve when you're sick. I mean, I get that. You can serve when you're an addict, which is a definite method of overcoming addiction
Yeah.
in some circles. Yet the potency of your service and your altruistic life is diminished when you are sad, suffering, sick,
Your
stressed out.
vibration is low. It's yeah, you're becoming thicker,
Yeah.
so heavier. Yeah, totally.
So yes, I like that analogy. So the lightness of getting in tune and having your frequency with your creator in alignment so that you can be of greater service in everything that you do. And even, I mean, you hear the story about the monks who meditate while cleaning a toilet. It's
Mm-hmm.
that concept to me. It's whatever you're doing, bringing a higher frequency of joy and love and otherness. It's important to consider yourself so that you can consider others. And you said this giving and receiving, and that actually has been an interesting dialogue, not necessarily a debate, yet when people bring up it's better to give than to receive.
Mm-hmm.
And although I appreciate that concept, I also, the deeper I look at it, I think it's in balance, and it's two sides of the same coin. Because if we don't learn how to ask for help when we need it, that's a valuable lesson to be able to become vulnerable and ask for something outside of yourself, because then that's when you give other people opportunities to be of service. And then when you're working on teams, and as we know, working on teams is one of the most valuable education methods on the
Mm-hmm.
planet, and persevering in teamwork so that these different personalities and characteristic traits can work together to get something progressed and ascended, whatever project that you're working on. And so this giving and receiving, I don't necessarily have the full answer yet of what
But
my philosophy is moving towards, yet I
I'll give
think
you
it's
my take on that in a
I
minute.
would
But
love
yes,
that. Yeah, go for
yes,
it.
and yeah, I think it's true. I think, and then, you brought a lot of good points. So let me start from the end and then go back. But this is interesting, and I think you're right. Everything has to be in balance. I believe that that's the point in life. It's if you can't go to the extremes, you have to be balancing. Everything is our bodies are balancing. We're putting in food, taking in air, we're putting out, waste. So everything has to be in balance, and this is the case as well. And like you're saying, in for you personally, in order to become vulnerable, in order to be able to ask others for help, then you're opening other experiences for your life that are really valuable, you know.
Mm.
And I've had that, you know, had difficult situations in my life where I had to ask for help, and it served me. And like you were saying, that also serves the other person, you know. You don't know. And this is another thing that I talk a lot about. It's called the dream spell. And it's, we're like in this dream, we're kind of acting here, you know. We put on these clothes and we play roles, and you're sometimes protagonist, antagonist. And if you do not becomes even sometimes an antagonist to somebody, they don't learn their lesson. If you don't ask for that help, if you don't let them, you know, express that, you know, aid or whatever they're lending to you or giving to you, then you're not really, you know, keeping or helping them live the fullest of their experience. So that's interesting, and I really like that. And one other thing that you mentioned, it was the monks cleaning the toilet, and yes, I think, you know, the concept of the dignity in everything, you know. So a
Mhm.
lot of people may say, you know, oh, how indignant maybe to clean a toilet or maybe be a janitor. But if you truly give yourself and you really do a good job, it's for you, you know. It's really, you're expressing everything out there. So you cannot deny the dignity of even cleaning a toilet to the person that cleans the toilet, because that
Yeah.
is, you know, who they are. And in that service, it is also beautiful, you know. It's really interesting what you're putting out.
Yeah. I I like the word that you use, dignity. And service and dignity and integrity, all of these things, values can be found in any vocation.
Exactly.
And I think, as you just said, of if we could get that basic respect and dignity for all humanity because we're intrinsically related, that is another fundamental piece of this reframing of religion, understanding that we're all in it together, and to recognize opportunities of, well, I'm thinking about the story about Jesus, and even if he knew the answer,
Mm-hmm.
like, how do you get to this village? He would ask for directions just to start a beautiful conversation and give that other person the opportunity to serve him in that way. And I do that. I've taken on this mysterious curiosity as an experiment to see where it may lead. And I one of the kind of low hanging fruits, I would say, is to get into the mindset of curiosity and leading life with questions.
Mm-hmm.
Leading everything I do with more open-ended questions, non-judgmental questions, non-leading questions, and giving people permission as I exude acceptance and love and joy and curiosity of what they have, then it starts to really break down those walls, build up the walls of trust, or there are no walls in trust, right? The hug of trust.
Exactly. Exactly. The pillars of trust, let's say.
Yeah. It's really beautiful how and I live in a paradigm that it's a white canvas with just a few dark spots.
Yeah.
And I, with this attitude and this energetic frequency, I magnetize people who either want that or have it and want to up level it. And when I get into conversations with people who don't have that around them and only see the negative and our world is going down and everybody's suffering, I don't live in that world. And I send them compassion and I hold space for them when I'm in that conversation, and I hold their heart because it is a big challenge, and I know how emotionally and mentally and spiritually draining it can be. Yet I don't bring myself down there because I know of the eternal plan. And I know that we're going beyond this world, and this world is evolving. It is
Yeah.
ascending. I
Yeah.
mean, just take caveman time all the way to now, and you can see that we are certainly more evolved.
You can see a clear evolutionary path, and I agree with you, and the way I see time as well. You know, it compounds. So every day is there's more speed to it. You know, it's an accelerator, and I think we're at a crucial state. And like everything, you know, it's a point where in the process there's a lot of polarization because that's where you see. You know, it's you can see the or the shadows are more visible when the light is brighter. So that's
Well,
something that we have to think about. But where are you going to stand? Are you going to be in the darkness or are you going to be in the light? You know, and yes, we can all agree that the situation in the world is chaotic. But through chaos, I mean, what more chaotic than a birth? I mean, I went through three of my children's births. I lived through that experience, and that's funny because when as a father and as a husband, you go through that experience, and you're just a bystander. You're trying to help, and there's a lot of chaos. Frankly, it's a lot of chaos, and it's really you're there just recording the chaos. I mean, just being witness to the chaos, really. But out of that chaos, when that ceases, boom, you have life and you have, the most beautiful thing, and then everything is quiet. It's really interesting, but it is. And I think that everything is at that stage. So I think we're in a very good point in time. And I think one of the things that we wanted to get across this conversation is, people, folks, if you want to live, what is it to reframe a religion, and how is it to really understand your religion? Is find your values. What is it that you live by? What is it that really moves you? What when you go outside and when you are with your friends, with your family, whatever you're doing in your job, what is it that really fills you and fulfills you
well,
when you do it, and live by that, not just a mere instant, but really try to hold on to that and expand it.
yeah. That's a really good point. And you and I like practicality and allowing people to receive whatever they need to through these podcasts. And if there is any method that we can bring to this curiosity around reframing religion, an easy one is start learning about values. There are lists of values out here in the ethernets. I have them if you want them. And we have facilitated some programs like the Progress Project and the School of Service that you look at your values, the ones that come most easily to you. So as you start researching, maybe look at the top 10 that your character is most naturally performing in your life without you having to even think about the integrity of it. And also look at the ones that you admire in other people. And I used to say, think more about the ones that you admire in other people that you want to cultivate in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I am transitioning currently to focus on the ones that you're naturally good at
Mm-hmm.
and get even better at those, because that will build the confidence inside of you, the integrity within you, and the other values that you admire will start coming online naturally. Now,
Definitely do
both
what
of
you
those
what you
methods,
do what
yeah,
you're good at, and then you get inspired if you're
you
doing it,
do.
and suddenly that inspires you to do the rest.
And then just with that, you're putting out the energy to magnetize more of that. So then you get to start witnessing an admiration that you have in others, and then the other values start coming in naturally. I mean, okay, so then if you really want to be a nerd, I love this guy. I won't say his name, but you may know him. He studies the values, and like one a day, he'll process one and hold on to that like a meditation point throughout
Okay.
his day, and see where he, rates himself on, okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, it has to be in hindsight, You can think about them in pre-sight, precognition, yet it's the hindsight that you can see where you've up-leveled since the
Yeah,
last time you met that value and maybe didn't live up to the standard that you thought you had. So that there's a lot of methods, yet the lowest foundational thing is literally just paying attention,
exactly.
observing
Being aware,
what
being
are
aware.
values.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. This is good. So we're gonna be closing this. Shoot, time just flies when
I
we're
know it
having so
does.
good conversations. But we're gonna be closing off this segment. On the Divine Within podcast, we'll share real conversations to help you find a personal connection with God. My goal is to support your faith, growth, and journey toward discovering the divine within yourself. Join us to deepen your faith and spiritual journey.